What's going on, y'all? It is your girl Ray P back for another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. Of course, I am not here alone. I am here with my contagious under the weather co-host, but down for the cause. Still a power trooper, powering through it. Kieron Richardson. What's going on, friend?
What's happening with you? I'm doing well. I appreciate you. Yeah. For those of you out there listening, I am a bit congested. I'm fine. Just that season. You would think with the cold, allergies wouldn't really be around the same. So, um, yeah, last night after we recorded, came down with some little congestion. I feel great. So that's
Yeah.
the good news, but might sound a little bit different on the recording. So appreciate y'all. Bear with me. And I'm excited to be here, of course, to wrap up Reasonable Doubt with you, Rachel.
We made it to the end of Reasonable Doubt. I'm excited to talk about these last two episodes. I know the penultimate is usually your favorite episode of a season. I'm curious to know if that is the case here or not, or what you thought about the finale. So I'm excited to get into it. And we do know that
Well,
Reasonable Doubt was already greenlit for a season 4. So
yes, and they have to with the finale and the ending that they gave us. But
for sure.
before we even get into it, thank all y'all out there for tuning in, listening to us,
Yes.
commenting, subscribing, sharing, everything else. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for that. Um, I want to ask you before we actually get into the episode. I was talking to a couple people, and they were saying,
Mhm.
Reasonable Doubt just wasn't hitting for them like this season.
Mm.
I want to get your thoughts on that. How did you feel about the overall season and these last couple episodes?
I've seen people say that I actually enjoyed this season of Reasonable Doubt in the lowest of keys, maybe more than season 1. I think season 2 might
Mm.
be my favorite, and I think I might go 2, 3, 1. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I didn't take any issue with this season. I did see people saying that it was slower than usual, but I don't necessarily think that either. But that's just me. I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm wondering if because of the subject matter. Like abuse was a big topic this
Mm,
entire season, but we've seen a lot of crazy stuff going on. I
for
mean, the
sure.
series, the opening scene of this entire series is Jack's tied up, pleading
Mm,
for her life. Like
yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's not like we haven't seen, I guess, trauma or things like that. I understand, I think, a little bit of what people were saying, but I will say that the finale definitely pushed it over the top. I think it was a great season. It was definitely some great episodes. Where would I rank this season? I don't know. It might be third, but that doesn't mean that it's bad.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I like one. I was a big fan of one
Mhm.
personally,
I like
probably because
season
I
1
was introduced
too.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and two I think was the best.
Mhm.
And yeah, I put this there, but it's slightly at number three. So here
Mhm.
we are. So as we get into it, we might as well talk about the episodes. We had episode 9, The Evils, Reasonable Doubt. Shout out to Jay Z. And then we also have on to the next one, Blueprint 3. So those are the two episode titles. The synopsis overall for episode 9: as the case nears its boiling point, haunting memories push Ozzie to the brink. Jax deals with a betrayal within her team, and the truth catches up to Eddie. In regard to episode 10, the final verdict forces everyone to deal with the emotional fallout. Devastating losses shatter Jackson's foundation and force her to reevaluate where her value truly lies. Rachel, let's go ahead and get into it. And for those of you out there, just remember we're going to kind of combine these episodes as we talk about them and not split them up individually. Where do you want to start? A lot of different stuff going on, and we could start with Ozzy, but I don't. We got a lot to talk about with him, so I don't know if
Let's
you want to
hold
get minor stuff knocked out or big stuff.
Yeah, let's hold off on Ozzy. Let's do some minor-ish things. Let's start with Lewis.
Let's start with Lewis, man. Lewis is a. I don't even know what to say about Lewis this season.
I hate Lewis.
Yeah, I didn't feel that before this season. I just felt I don't know if this is intentional by the writers' room. I don't know if Lewis is. They made us hate Lewis to feel bad for him. Maybe that's him at the end of this episode 10 that steps in front of Jax. I don't know. I don't know. But I didn't understand the character arc of Lewis this season.
Yeah. He was unlikable in the previous seasons, but I didn't hate him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, come on. You sleeping with your daughter's friend's mother. Somebody else in the family friend circle.
Yeah, but was Jackson likable?
Jax is the main character.
Okay, but what's she unlikable?
For what?
Rachel.
Yes.
Jackson's out here getting her rocks off too.
Okay.
Is it because
Is that an
is it because it
action
was
or a
someone?
reaction?
They started out the series separated,
Okay.
and I thought they had some little, their own little fetish thing going on. Because remember early in the series,
He will be watching the cameras. Uh-huh.
watching the camera while Jackson was getting off with the, I guess the security that he hired.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that was weird, why would you hire security when that's your family? Like, I'm coming over, making sure y'all good.
Yeah.
I like Jax. I love Jax actually. So I don't have anything bad to say. I'm just saying people might point out that hey, that might be a double standard because Jax is getting it too with Michael Ealy and everybody else.
Getting it in and getting it in with people close enough to touch their, well, I mean, he touched their family, obviously, but it still was too close to home. You could find a random woman to sleep with.
Now
Lewis is
that
not,
I can't.
you're not unattractive. You don't have to be in this circle. And you know that he's also sleeping with your other homegirl's husband too. Like,
That is wild. Yeah,
you're
I'm not
entering
defending
into
Lewis for
that,
that.
man.
I'm
So
not defending Lewis for that. Speaking of Lewis and just being a clown, this dude. Shout out to this brother. I don't know what his name is. Got the most airtime. Got the most run out of a single character. Only had one scene like setting, which
mhm.
was Lewis's office. But what was the light skinned dude name that worked for him? Sam? No, it
Sam,
wasn't Sam.
it's not. I think it might be.
Actually, you know what? I think Sam was somebody else. It was Sam. Sam. So Sam has been playing Lewis all season. Once again, if anybody wants to dislike Lewis, this should be a main reason why too. Because how do you
Yeah.
let this happen the entire season?
Yeah.
We see in episode 9 that Sam comes in Lewis's office and he's telling some sob story about, once again, should I say, Lewis is ready to fire him. And Sam is
Mhm.
on some like, my girl's pregnant. We already lost a child. There's a special place in the dark pits if you lie about like losing a child and shit like that. That's just sickening. Like lying about that, that's
Mhm.
crazy to me. Like that's insane. To save your job, you can come up with anything else. Like don't lie and say you lost a child, especially when Lewis is someone who lost a child.
For
So he
sure.
has that real pain. So I'm surprised they didn't even tap into that. But we see Lewis obviously have a soft spot for that. I wasn't around. That's why I'm not here right now because I want to be around this time. And Lewis says, "Go ahead. We keep an eye on you. You got to be perfect."
Mhm.
And then he also gets run down by Chelsea. And Chelsea tells Lewis that Eddie isn't everything he's meant to be. All he is a scheme and a scam. He's sober until he's not. All that kind of good stuff. But as we get into the finale, one of the assistants or somebody who works at the company with Lewis comes in his office and says something about Sam, and he mentions, "Hey, I can't fire him. He's about to have a baby." She's like, "Huh? With who?"
Yeah.
His girlfriend. What girlfriend? He bragged about his Tinder profile. So
Mhm.
once again, I don't know if you were thinking this when you were watching it in real time. I knew in episode 9 that dude ain't had no girlfriend. Like, I thought it was pretty obvious.
Oh yeah, I didn't believe him at all with the sob story, but this is my issue with Lewis. He doesn't have any sense, and it's not just because he's from the suburbs. It's not just because he's from the suburbs of Philly, you know. He just, to be a man of his age and educational stature, he just doesn't seem to have any common sense or any wisdom. And that is irksome to me because I don't want to hear you pounding your chest about being a man and this, that, and the third, but you're so easily played.
Yep.
And to your point, I knew Sam didn't have some pregnant girlfriend at home. Wrote that down.
Facts.
um Lewis was soft to give him another chance. He's already shown that he cannot do this job. I think that upon the first, there is grace, and there's grace in corporate that we give to us when we can try to help somebody along. I understand that. Howsoever, Lewis had ample time to sort of pull his coat and be like, "Look, I know I said you was good here, but you really need to tap in," versus waiting until somebody else is catching the mistakes. Because Lewis, you are the go-between from my understanding of the company structure. So at any point you could have seen and caught these failures before getting to your boss's eyes. So I didn't love that. So as much as you want to be the boss, you also seem kind of aloof and obviously easy to deceive. Don't love that, which takes me into the Chelsea of it all. I didn't get the Chelsea storyline arc that I was anticipating in these last two, and definitely not in the finale after she takes it upon herself to introduce herself to Lewis. Now, I am not male centered, but I do believe Eddie in the Chelsea being maybe dangerous, her also being manipulative. It doesn't mean that Eddie also is not.
Yeah.
But if you consider, she says, "Did you get the money?"
Yep.
You are also in on the scheme to get whatever money from Jax. You're in on the scheme with him defrauding his employer for workman's comp. So your hands are not at all clean. And this is unfortunate. And the issue when you do have somebody that does drugs, because nothing that Chelsea said was likely a lie in regards to Eddie.
Facts.
Howsoever, don't be volunteering his shit without volunteering all of yours. This is not just I want a relationship with my sister. You are coming around for a reason. You're stalking Lewis and Jax for a reason, because how do you know where Lewis worked?
Hey, Lewis was scared as shit. Whoa. What's going on? Who was this?
What are we talking about here?
The
It's
tables
not your
turned.
the tables turn. You're not all on the up and up. So I didn't love that. And again, Lewis, you just taking what she says. Okay, yes, this is Chelsea. We finally know. I've heard it, but you believe it too much. And I know that he ate that line up. Why don't you call him dad? Well, dad is for men like you. Eddie is for motherfuckers like him. Like, come on, dog. I know, knowing how Lewis is, he loved that. He loved being compared to him in such a way. Like, shut up, nigga.
Lewis, hey, that's
I
Lewis
can't.
lame, man. Lewis lame. He doesn't have to be.
He is. He is.
That's what's upsetting about it. He doesn't have to be. Like you should be able to see all this.
And he
Like just
doesn't. He
random.
never sees the play. And I think that's one of the most frustrating things about Lewis. You
Yeah, the
don't
Sam,
see him.
the
You
whole
don't
Sam,
see Chelsea.
you 100% right. The whole Sam debacle is one of the most frustrating things I've seen in television in a
Yeah.
while. Like, how do you not see this? How do you not see this dude is playing with you? Especially after you tried to fire him and the big boss was in there. And he said so. Oh well, Lewis told me I had to work for free, and once you
Right.
saw that, you should have known what type of time he was on. So it kind of is what it is. Um, Speaking of Lewis, we see some Corey. We said he was gonna creep back in before the series was over,
hmm
and Lewis got the stone grill. He got the ice grill on with Corey at the crib, and then finally daps him up once he feels like realizes that he's engaged.
hmm
Was this childish for Lewis? Because I felt like there had been enough time. Like obviously, if it's that big of an issue,
They don't let him
don't
come.
come to the crib.
hmm
Yeah, like if you in your crib, don't make it seem like you don't want me here if you invited me here. That's what I'm
Yeah.
like. Why you could have told me no
Yeah.
rather than acting all stuck up and uppity, and you don't even want to shake my hand. Like that's just weird to me. And then he finally like softens up. I don't know, man. It was just a weird Lewis season.
Lewis is a
Just a weird.
loser.
I suppose so. I
That's
suppose
it. And
so.
I'm also intimidated because That's Morris fucking Chestnut.
Fair enough.
Corey is Corey. He's more attractive. He probably seemingly has more money. He and Jax's careers are aligned. You know that it was a funny little thing, even if it wasn't quote unquote
Could have been.
insecure. Could have been, yeah. So I'm not surprised, but yeah, don't invite me over if you gonna, or don't allow me to come if you're gonna be acting some kind of way. Because clearly we know he didn't invite him. We know this is Jax, but
Right. To get back to your Chelsea point, though, I just don't know what her purpose is.
yeah.
Like after I know the whole get in between Jax and Eddie, but past this, well, then what? Next season,
They want
what
some
is?
money.
I
Are
get
you
that,
in trouble? What did you do? This is the whole purpose. The whole purpose is money. Are you in legal trouble?
but we know Jax ain't coming off no money for them,
Right. Maybe
so it's got
old
to turn into
Jax.
something else. You said what?
Maybe old Jax.
I don't think New Jax will either.
I think that new Jax is a bit more sympathetic to family and this, that, and the third. Because of the Ozzie of it all, because of almost losing her mother, having to lean on Eddie, she might be a little bit more sympathetic. Now, it depends on what it is. If it's definitely some bullshit, which I am thinking so, then probably not. But maybe she wants to
Yeah,
be an
let's
auntie.
talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. What do you think this money's for? You think it's just for like I fuck up my life and I just need some bread, or do you think there's some dire need for it because I don't know, some large outstanding unsafe debt or something that's gonna mess up somebody's livelihood? I'm not sure. The kids are struggling, or is it just on some GP? Like, hey, she got bread, I'm gonna get some of it.
No, I don't think it's a GP thing. I think that between she and Eddie, they have fucked somebody's money up. They have fucked somebody's money over. Maybe it's an outstanding drug debt. That maybe she and Eddie owe, which is why he agreed. Maybe it's something to that effect. It's not just some arbitrary. I know that my sister is rich, and now I want to be the beneficiary of that. It's not, because that's pointless. So I think it's
Yeah.
definitely something much deeper.
So maybe a character we haven't seen yet or met yet that's probably gonna
Mhm.
pop up in the next season to say, where my bread at?
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. Oh, I don't know if I have anything else on Chelsea or Lewis, honestly.
That's it. Just in segue then, and keeping up with the Chelsea of it all, we do know that Lewis relayed this information to Jax, and so Jax, she wants to meet with Eddie, and I thought that that was a good scene. We hadn't seen Eddie in a couple episodes, so here, well, essentially last week, but we hadn't seen him in mass, and so here he comes, and Jax has him meet her at a funeral home, which is
Hmm.
interesting. I'm like, why the fuck are they there? But then she goes on to say that all the time you were gone, I felt like this would be the next place I saw you. And so she relays what Chelsea's message to Lewis was. And I felt bad for him because, again, when you don't have to lie. When you lie, you make the situation 10 times worse. And so now, because Chelsea is the one who made her presence known, now the narrative is in my hands. Because you
Yeah.
didn't tell me. And it's really nothing you can say, because this is the impression that I have, because you didn't say anything. And so, how can I trust that this was not a scheme just to get money from me? You trying to get close because you want what I have versus looking for an actual relationship. And Lewis is not Lewis. And Eddie is very clearly taken aback by that. He's salty. He's heartbroken. Um, not surprised at what Chelsea said, but he understands. And this is why I do think that one is something serious, and two, that he was genuine in actually wanting a relationship with Jax, because he's respecting her boundary in a way that he might not have before.
I agree with you. Something tells me that would have been an opportunity for Eddie to say what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, this is why I don't know, or maybe just Eddie's like, I'm trying to show you that I'm different. I just
Yeah.
genuinely want to be around. I think you said it perfectly. You mess up that narrative when you don't
Mhm.
have the opportunity to be the one to say it.
Yeah.
And I think Jackson's reaction was showing us the same. Like, I don't know if I want a dad. I don't know if I want a sister. I don't know if I want either.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't have both. I don't know who to believe. I think both of y'all are liars.
Yeah.
I don't know either one of y'all for real. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
big thing too. So that's another thing we gotta look at. So the funeral home part of it, obviously symbolic. And what she said to him overall was about how she carried all of this for so many years. And you and I just recorded yesterday for the morning show. We talked about these relationships with parents and kids and all the emotional complications that can go into it.
Mm-hmm.
I spent my whole life thinking that I'm the one missing out, but you were.
Yeah.
You missed out. I loved you regardless of everything else. And you didn't get to receive that. And I kind of feel bad for you versus feeling bad for me now. So
Yeah.
all of that was pretty telling.
Yeah. So not too much on that, but very good. I'm curious to see what unfolds in the next season in regards to that. And we also know, I believe Mama Lou knows whatever the other secret is behind Eddie's return. Just because they have he and Mama Lou have been in contact and he's taking
Hey,
care of her.
Mama Lou don't be letting Jax know shit.
Not at all.
She don't be letting Jax know. Hey, she told her in that park though, you grown, right? Let me stay out your business, man. Go ahead. You got it. You told me you was tired of it, so go ahead, do your things. That's just funny, man. Shout out to Mama
That's
Lou.
it. And she's right. Shout out to Mama Lou and her recovery, which we did see that she is essentially making a full recovery. So glad to know that she was not the body uh that we saw in the trailer.
Man, that's the one thing I will say. Reasonable Doubt does a great as someone who watches a lot. Well, I've watched a lot of TV and movies over the years. Rachel watches a lot of TV currently. I'm not at the same pace as her, but I've seen enough to know all the plot twists. I'm kind
Mhm.
of sniff them out early. Every season of Reasonable Doubt, they always get me every single time. Season 2 was the closest I've been. It wasn't until right before it happened. I'm like, oh shit, it was
Mm.
one of them daughters. But season 1, it got me. This season, had no idea it was going to pan out the way it did. But we'll get more into that. But we got Jax, we got Ozzie, we got Bill.
Bill.
And maybe it's time to talk about Bill. And Bill is confronted by the partners.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Bill gets served.
Hmm.
We know that he's going through a divorce or that his wife officially filed. And he gets served at the office. And I need that money. I'm about to go through a nice, nasty, ugly divorce. I need every single dollar I can get. And tells the partners, you're going to help me get it. You're going
Yeah.
to help me help you. They're all colluding against or conspiring against Jax.
Which
His
is crazy.
acquisition is coming up, which is insane. We talked about that was episode 8 when she had the speech, right?
Hmm.
I'm the one to keep the lights on here.
Yeah.
Okay, they got you. We already went through that. But the partners coming to Bill, asking them to say, hey, help me out with this whole Jax situation. We see the partners go to Jax while she's working on the case late night in the office.
Hmm.
Say, hey, it's time to go ahead and get the bullpen in here. You've done a great job. Let's let Bill do the closing statements. And
Yeah.
Jackson's reaction, I love her, man. Because what are y'all talking about? Y'all got me all the way fucked up. Like, what? If I needed Bill to do this, then Bill would do it. Like, you
Yeah.
can't come in here and tell me how to run my case. Obviously, Bill tries to go to the partners after Jax wins the trial, which we'll get into. It says, hey, none of this would have been possible without Jax. Well, what are you here for then if we could have done this without you? Why should you be a partner? And I love one thing that Jax kind of confronted him with at the end of episode 10, which was, hey, Jax, I told the partners, what you did, we saw it. You need to treat Jax with more respect. You need to treat her like she's the one bringing in these cases, like she's the one winning them. If they don't, if I've been working with them for years and they don't know that by now, what do you think you're gonna do?
Yeah.
You want a cookie for that? I don't need your help. I don't need you to feel like you're getting points with me because I'm looking out for you, Jax. This, that, and the third. Like it doesn't work like that.
And
I don't
beyond
care.
that, I don't give a fuck what you're saying because I already know that you are in collusion with them against me and have been throughout the duration of this case. You've been meeting with them, as to which Jax had that hunch all season long that he had been meeting with the partners and discussing trial plans and whatnot, as to which we know that he was. And so here we are again when you're meeting with them because they disagreed with putting Ozzie on the stand and Jax's course of action. You met with them and basically said, you know what, I'm not first chair. It is her case to do with as she please. I'm second fiddle here. You've been undermining Jax this entire time. And once she was able to essentially confirm it, because Bill was bumping heads with her all season, not necessarily all season, but definitely in these last couple of episodes because he didn't want Ozzie on the stand. He also thought Ozzie was guilty. And all of this lets me know that he would not have been the right one for the case, for the trial. And while Billable Bill is billing all these cases, he's not a criminal defense attorney. That has not been historically his bread and butter. So it would behoove him to continue to sit under Jackson Learn. But when you're greedy and essentially desperate in this case, you'll do any old thing, and it calls you to move beyond your means or to move outside the way and maybe which you normally would. And so here we are, we're seeing this in the discussion with the partners. You coming to Jack saying, well, I held you down. Who gives a fuck? Because the reality is that you've been undermining me this whole time. So this one good deed, as to which you also tried to backpedal once the partners were saying, oh well, if she did everything, what we need you for? What are you good for?
Yep.
As to which they are correct, but you're about to go through an expensive divorce. And so you get back to ass kissing, you get back to grappling. And once you make your bones, quote unquote, and essentially are crowned partner of this firm without the proper channels, without the proper vote going to being extended to Jax, you want to kiss my ass again because now we really, really have to work together. And you know how I am. And you don't want us to have a contentious relationship. But the reality is that there's no way for us to positively move forward because I see what type of time you be on. And you would throw
Yeah.
me under the bus at any point.
And she had already told Bill, like, yo, you just gonna be a flunky to them. Like
Yeah.
that's all you are. You starting out as a flunky, that's what your role's gonna be. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
be in their pocket until they don't see any use for you anymore. Speaking of which, we do see at the end of episode 10 that Bill it does become a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, even after that scene where the partners made it seem like what we need you for.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think there was something underlying there that maybe Bill did off camera that got him solidified in that spot, or do you think they just honored what they said in regard to, oh, you won the case, we'll go ahead and do this
Yeah,
thing?
I think they just honor what they said. And you said you about to go through a divorce. You need more money. I really can get you to do any and everything. And at this point in time, they think that they still have Jax. So yeah, we can bring him on as partner. Who gives a fuck? We can get him to do whatever we want. His integrity is questionable at best.
You always said that desperation, Bill's desperate.
Come on.
They're gonna take good advantage of that. So I definitely understand.
And shout
Um,
out to Kendra, because she's also a lawyer.
Shout out to Kendra.
Bill's
Oh, no, yeah, yeah.
lawyer.
I wonder if I guess we do get Bill next season.
We probably get a little Bill next season.
Get a little bit of Bill next season. We'll see. Oh, the big thing obviously is going to be the trial, Ozzy, what happens, and of course Jax. How do you want to weave this in together? You want to start in a certain character? You just want to kind of start talking about what's been happening with the trial, or
We could talk about Jax and the trial.
so at the beginning of episode 9, Jax is up late
Mm-hmm.
because we saw in episode 8, Rosie called her, which is Ozzie's mom, and said, I think my son might have
He
done
might
this.
have did it.
My
Mm-hmm.
son might have killed him. And Jax is up thinking like, damn, maybe he did. And needs Lewis to put her to bed. Also showing contrast of Ozzie and the young woman that he kicked out of his party that one time when Monica was watching. Shout out to I thought it was hilarious that Lewis of all people was trying to call Bill billable bitch. Like, bro, you a bitch this
Crazy.
season, so I don't know where you get that from. Um, we didn't even talk about Jax going up Bill and asking what the problem was. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? He talked about how if I don't win, my name's never gonna be in this building. And Jax, we talked about it briefly, the speech about, if the partners approach you with a promise, a partner, then that's all they can use you for is a flunky. You don't have stability. You get divorced. You fucking another black woman who's
Yeah.
also getting a divorce. The partners ain't gonna love to hear that. And Bill honors his commitment to her, which obviously he breaks, but then still tries to come back and apologize the whole nine. And closing arguments are in. Jack smokes it. Verdict, excuse me, not closing arguments are in. Closing arguments are finished. The verdict is in after Jack smokes it. We see Daniel see Kristen at the cabin, and this is kind of all intertwined, so that's why I mentioned it. And Kristen has a gun, and Kristen is starting to tell Daniel what happened. He's the one that tells her the verdict's in. But we find out that Ozzie's found not guilty, which no shock there, right? I don't think anybody at this point of this episode. What were you thinking? Did you think that Ozzie might have done it? Did you have any idea who did it? Like, did you have any guess?
Well, I kept telling y'all all season that I actually did think it was Kristen, and maybe even the mother. I had no idea that it would have been the father. I just truly did not think that at all. But before we even get to the verdict, I really kind of want to focus in on Ozzy being prepped for the stand, and Crystal saying, I think that Ozzy is too dumb to have done it. That was a major factor in, I think, in Jax's, when she puts him on the stand, in her line of questioning in the defense. I don't necessarily want to brush over it because I've come in here saying Ozzy was crazy pretty much all season. But what I don't think I specifically acknowledged was how truly, truly, truly dependent he was. And he's almost, despite being the breadwinner of this family, he's almost essentially been infantized by them. You don't know how to get anywhere. You've never grocery shopped. You've never done anything that somebody at 20 something, almost 30 years old would have done up to this point, despite being famous. That is embarrassing. And I think we watched Ozzy on that stage. I mean, on the stand, and it's like, oh wow, he's not acting. He really genuinely doesn't know. And to see the prosecutor kind of step back, like, oh shit, there definitely were other ways that we could have tried this case, because just in looking at him and what we have, he's not a good candidate for this. He didn't do it. And it was
That
clear.
was that was probably one of my favorite moments of the season
Hmm.
because something so simple. Like, wait, like, hold on, this dude doesn't even. He was on the stand and they said, "Where'd you get the rope? The rope store?"
The rope store.
Like what? Like he has no idea, which
Yeah.
makes sense into everything you said. Like I don't do what normal people do. Maybe if I had become famous when I was 20,
Yeah.
21, it's a little different. But I've been acting since he said 2 years old.
Hmm.
I've been acting since I was two. Everybody's taking care of everything. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned him being the breadwinner. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, Ozzie has no idea how much money is in his bank account. Maybe
I'm
he doesn't
sure.
even know how to access it.
I'm sure.
Doesn't know who pays his bills.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great callback to, and now that I just credit that to writing when early in the season, episode 1, like he didn't know the passwords to his stuff. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the Wi-Fi and all that stuff. And there's some things that people get away with. It's like, all right, you don't know how to do this, but grocery shopping, all that, knowing what store to buy something. If I need to get, I don't know, I don't even know. Like if I need to find a remote control for an Xbox, where should I go to get that? Like Ozzy has no clue.
Yeah.
And Crystal bringing that up was the perfect scenario for them. And I know Bill had issues. He was the one that was saying like, well, he's not ready for the stand. He'll never be ready. Obviously, we'll talk about a lot of the stuff that we saw in some flashback scenes with Ozzy and just kind of how he is now. But it was actually the best thing for their defense and really drove everything home. I think that's what made everybody confident, at least me as a viewer, that Ozzy's going to get off with this. Because, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say for sure. And note in regards to flashbacks, like your mom did not come to see you on the stand.
Right.
Kristen, the only person who's protected you, quote unquote, didn't come. Imagine how Ozzy felt on that stand and then alone in here. I mean, his dad was there, but essentially alone, recanting how he can do nothing for himself. It's embarrassing. I feel bad. I have felt bad for Ozzy for quite a few episodes, despite him being an asshole. I feel bad for him.
That's funny because I don't know if I felt bad until these past two.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, really, really felt bad for Ozzy. And
Yeah.
just kind of look at it from a grand scheme of things. And we'll talk about what happened with Ozzy at the end of all this. But it really, I don't want to say tugged at my heartstrings, but I was like, damn, that's fucked up. As somebody who I didn't really care about from a whether you good or bad, whether you did it or didn't, like you said it best, he's an asshole. Like it is what it is. But I was like, damn, man, I didn't want that to happen to you.
For
Like, you
sure.
know what I mean? I was happy that he got off and it looks like everything was there's nothing worse than a redemption story going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like he was on the right path and finally had people around him. But that wasn't necessarily Jack's responsibility to kind of it really doesn't matter what Jax did. I won't say it wasn't her responsibility because if there's someone that you love and care for,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like you have a way to get them help, get them help. But there's nothing she could have done. The writing was on the wall because of all types of things, and we can even go back to 2015 when we see Ozzy at the vet with his mom, and the vet comes in, and the dog has eaten some chocolate. O-Dog is what they call him. He's eating some chocolate, and the vet's kind of like, that wasn't no accident.
Yeah.
Like that seems like that happened purposely.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what started making me think Kristen did this. Like, well, maybe Kristen's got some good son energy. If anybody's seen that movie Good Son with Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin, where I'm just like, maybe Kristen's the one that's really like pulling all the strings, and Ozzy's the one getting blamed for it. Because did Ozzy give chocolate to that dog? He never said he did it. Every time it was brought up to him, Dr. Owen even asked, he said, listen, whether I did or didn't, my mom thought I did. She thought I was capable of that.
Yeah.
And that had to hurt. He had a mental health diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? It was a conduct disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And his parents hid it from him. We saw Rosie on the day of a shoot where Ozzy just wants to be a kid, bring in Adderall and grapefruit instead of a normal breakfast like kids want to eat because, he can't, you can't be late to a set. You have to do things a certain way. It was strictly business for her.
For sure.
Mothering was maybe not even second on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was all about business, making sure Ozzy was going where he needed to go. And even at the end of this episode of 10, when there's a producer that comes to the home, she's like, I bet. Like I won't say addicted, but she's accustomed to that life. And that's what really matters to her versus anything else. And we do get a small moment of Rosie apologizing to Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
She came to his house, kind of cried, said she failed him. Maybe she was doing the acting. I don't know. Or maybe she believed it and she doesn't really care.
No. Well, we learned that Kristen is the one who actually did poison the dog. So
Did they actually confirm that? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
Kristen said it at the cabin.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah, Kristen poisoned that dog. So,
I believe it. That's why I said I thought
oh,
they were setting it up to where it looked like Kristen was the one that did this.
yeah, Kristen did. So when Rosie came again, this is after her not coming to the stand to see her son, her beloved child, on the stand for murder for something that we, for the most part, all know that he didn't do up to this point. I think that she was genuine in coming to his aid because after watching that and watching you break down, despite loving the life and maybe whatever arrested development she may have, you have to recognize where you have been in error. You
Yeah.
have to see that your son is genuinely hurting and that his growth has been genuinely stunted. And that is at the hands of you and your husband. Yes, I'm going to come here. And I didn't know that you had been abused. Even at that point, I didn't know how badly you were suffering, and I probably didn't want to see it. And so here I am, when I had another chance to actually show up for you, I didn't do it, and for that I'm sorry. I believe that she is genuine in that, even
You're
in
right.
regards to her conversation with Jax at the subsequent funeral. He chose you. He didn't
It
choose
just
me, you know
it just doesn't feel. Obviously, parents show love in different ways. I don't know. It just didn't feel like she was as remorseful or even sad or hurt
hmm
as she should have been. But who am I to judge that? That's their relationship, whatever the case may be. And you are right. I forgot that Kristen did tell Daniel, or she
hmm
alluded that she was kind of jealous of Ozzie.
yeah.
Ozzie was the one that was always seen, and
hmm
he loved that dog so much. He loved that dog maybe more than me. So I wanted to take that away because he always
yeah.
gets everything. Yeah. So you were 100% right. I forgot about that. Um, I'm trying to think of where I want to go next with this because I guess I'm curious to know the entire act on. I don't want to say act. His entire appearance on the stand, was all of that sincere? Was there any of that was acting? Like when he said he felt guilty, and then the prosecution like, "Oh, guilty, guilty for what?" And he kind of worked it as far as because I lied to Wendy. Like I told Wendy I'd be sober, and he immediately flipped it. Like he knew what he was doing almost. Like, do you think that was genuine or if that was him just kind of playing in? Because remember, the prosecution brought up like he's an actor.
hmm
When Dr. Owen went on the stand to talk about his arrested development and everything else, how do you know he's not acting in front of you? How do you know he's not getting you to feel this way? Because that's what he's good at. He's been doing that since he was 2. Did you feel all of it was genuine? I do believe the story part, him not once did I think Ozzy did this. Even
hmm
when he did wake up in the middle of the night and told Kristen, "What if I kill Wendy?" Still
Yeah.
didn't believe that. But am I reaching, or did you think that some of it was a little bit?
Heavy-handed. Maybe a little bit, but also I think that while you're good at acting, you're not necessarily super good with your words, quote unquote, with words meaning things. I can perform, but I don't know that words meaning things is his strong suit. So I kind of believed him. I believed him on the whole time about feeling guilty about not being sober because again, consider the flashback to the cabin, and we do get to see Wendy's death. We learned that he was sober with her. He hadn't relapsed until their argument. Alex said that, I'm glad you broke up with her or whatever because she's got you on the straight and narrow. When he gets to the cabin and sees her tied up and she sees that he's high, like he becomes like a child. I'm sorry that I'm high and this and the third. And while he may not have the memories of that particular incident, he knows that he had been sober until their argument, and whether or not he passed out at home or at the cabin. if he had been in his right mind, likely things would not have escalated the way that they did.
Hmm.
Because they wouldn't have even come to the cabin. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have even likely argued the way that we did. I mean, I'm sure that the drugs came after the argument, but it's still a disappointment nonetheless. And I don't want to disappoint you in death or in life, because for what Ozzie to know love is, he did love her.
Yeah, he really did love her, and I don't know if that was clear. Obviously, when we first meet them, you know it. Some shaky things happen all throughout the rest of the season, but in the last episode, you really realize like he really loved Wendy, and he
Hmm.
was really willing to lay it on the line. His family couldn't accept that because Rosie, the whole reason she showed him that sex tape, because obviously we get the flashback of 6 months earlier. She shows the sex tape, which we know was doctored at this point. He
Hmm.
has the fight with Wendy. Wendy goes over to their house and confronts the dad, which I
Yeah.
can't think of his name right now, and pretty much talking that cash, talking that big boy shit. Like I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell all y'all fucked up, all y'all are liars. Spits in that man's face, and she gets slapped, and then her head hits the table, which is that's how she got her head injury. That's
Hmm.
when we see Kristen kind of realize what's going on, and right away is against anything her dad is saying. Like, move the
Yeah.
body. What are you talking about? Move the body. That's insane.
Hmm.
But we're not going to do that. Goes along with the plan to go ahead and take her to the cabin, and then of course Ozzie's with Alex, sees the location at the cabin. Phone drops out of his pockets, which alludes to why he was showing at home all night. And we see him high, super high. And his dad even said he doesn't remember anything when he's high,
Yeah.
which is why Kristen was able to get him back home and kind of act like
Hmm.
nothing was going on. And that's probably why he had these memories of, damn, did I do it? Did I?
Hmm.
Maybe there's some pieces thinking like,
And
I
I
kind of
missed it.
feel like I was at the cabin, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. Like the last thing I remember is Alex and getting high. I don't know. So all of it started coming together. And like I said, the writing was very good at this. Um, Wendy's tied up, and like I said, they're painting it to where Christy shot Wendy. They actually show us a scene of Christy shooting out,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until later that we find out that when Jax confronts Kristen, Kristen slips up and said we the innocent ones, and then she finally gets the whole story. Now, before we get there, I do want to kind of talk about Ozzie at the
Hmm.
party. So everybody's talking about Ozzie being found out guilty, talking about his future. Jax is the one that says, hey, you want to come back to my house for Sunday dinner? He said, nah, we throwing a party at my house. Well, are they going to be with people that care about your well being, that's going to give you apple cider instead of champagne? Like, I
Hmm.
really want to see you do well. I want to see you push through this and not get back in the same situation. And Ozzie does leave that party. Once his boy takes a bump, Ozzie says no. He goes to Sunday dinner, tells Spencer and Aila, like, hey, you're in a great situation right now with your parents.
Hmm.
And we've seen that over and over, how many times they failed him. And I'm even thinking about stuff outside of his parents' control where he's in his trailer in episode 9. And Monica comes and kind of starts touching on him. And he's like, nah, she gaslights him. I didn't know you were gay.
Yeah.
Just fucking with that kid's head like that. It's like, yo, man, this kid
Mhm.
really had it messed up. He did not have any of the good people around you. That's something that Jax kept implementing over and over. Like, I care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that your parents didn't do anything and that they didn't show up how they should have, but I am. I'm gonna do that. I don't care what you say. That's what I'm here for. And he signs up for rehab, and he's mad at Jax. And he's upset, but eventually he says it's
She
the right
signed
thing.
him up for rehab.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He agrees to go, even though he
Yeah.
doesn't want to. Jax did sign him up, but he agrees to go, even though he doesn't want to. He says, "I've been sober for months," and she says, "You've been California sober.
Hmm.
You ain't been sober. Like you really need to get things back on track." And that's what we see in the scene at his house. His boy gave him the drug still,
Yeah.
even though he said no. He still handed it to him. And I guess Ozzy was on some level, about to go to rehab. One last hurrah,
And we see
and
that
it was too much.
often. Hmm.
See it a lot, a lot. One last hurrah, he couldn't handle it. And the infamous "Who was Jax crying on the floor about" in these openings? It was Ozzy. And did you think that he could have made it, or did you think it was over? Did you know that Ozzy ain't making it from this?
I wanted him to make it.
Same, I did
I
too.
wanted him to make it. I was trying to will him to make it. I definitely didn't want him to go on to glory after all of this. But honestly, beyond just the drugs, his body and mind was probably under so much stress giving it all, like it was no choice but for him to get on up out of here. Like the system literally crashed. Not saying that the drugs were bad or this, that, and the third, but like I think that for Ozzy, it was like one more thing and I'm up out of here. And that's exactly what
Yeah.
we saw. Mhm.
And that's the sad part about it because we see Ozzy at that Sunday dinner. We see him at the previous Sunday dinner. You see what it's like when he's around love and people that care about him.
Yeah.
You know, I question a lot how much of this is real, how much of this is acting. And I thought all of that was genuine. I thought him talking to the kids was genuine. I thought, his love for Mama Lou. And
Hmm.
just to be generally being around, we saw Ozzy give back the drugs that he stole when Mama Lou had
Yeah.
came back from the hospital. And not because he wanted to, but because these people care about me. I ain't gonna do it like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that he's a great guy. Doesn't mean that he's gonna stop doing it. But I don't want to take it from you. I
For
don't
sure.
want to shit on this relationship after all that you've extended to me.
For
And it
sure.
was really sad. Like I said, I shouldn't. I didn't really care about Ozzy, but I was really upset. More upset than I feel like I should have been when I found out, like, oh, Ozzy out of here. And I saw him on the ground, like, no, like, pull through. Come on, man. Like, stay with me, dog. But it,
Yeah.
it didn't work out. And we see Ozzy's repass, and we see the funeral, and we see Monica on the outside looking in.
Hmm.
And we talked about the house, and Bill comes at the most inappropriate time, trying to apologize. Like Jack says, neither the time nor the place. And Spencer
Yeah.
gives him the
What's
ice
wrong
grill
with
too. Yeah, like feeling guilty. Guilt will make you
you?
do anything. Clear your name. That just lets you know. I feel like Bill didn't really care. Because if you cared, then you would know.
Yeah.
Ozzy just died, bro. I don't care nothing about this. And
Yeah.
Spencer, like, I know who you are, bro. Like, fuck you. Because I know what
Hmm.
you've been trying to do to my moms and all of that. We talked about the Jackson Rosie part of it, about how Jax won. And Jax kind of sold her straight on that. And when Jax confronts Kristen based off what Daniel told her, that's when we find out the real truth.
Yeah.
And the real truth is Pops was behind all of this.
Crazy.
Pops was behind all of this. Apparently, he told Kristen because they went out in the woods. And this explained a lot. We see why the scratches were on Ozzy's chest. Monica did that when she came
Hmm.
to the house. We see why the blood was on his hoodie. It's
Hmm.
because there was blood from Wendy when Ozzy was high trying to figure out what's what.
Yeah.
The dad has Wendy tied up. Kristen's kind of involved. She's a part of it now. Kristen loosens herself up because Ozzy's there. He's high, trying to get some water. She runs out in the woods. Dad shoots at her. Alex sees. Alex will pay you to shut up. And then goes after her. Nobody knows what happened between Christy and her dad. I'm sorry, Wendy and Ozzy's dad, excuse me. But Christy is saying, hey, you told me that you couldn't find her, that she ran off and whatever the case may be. Now, Christy, I know that's your dad. For him to be the last person to be seen with her, knowing that he had a gun, and then you know that for a fact that she's passed on, you should have known that your dad probably did this. But it is your dad. You probably don't want to think that about him, but you know you was willing to take it there. What were you going to do with her had she been tied up? Were you going to let her go? And we saw the speech that they had or the conversation they had there. Part of me was like, Wendy, shut the fuck up. Like you guarantee your own death right now.
Yeah.
Like you guarantee your own death right now. But she let him know, like, listen, I'm gonna tell Ozzy if he can't remember this, everything about your family. He'll never talk to y'all again. And that's what ended up being her demise. He shot her dead, covered her up, and kind of left it at that.
Which is crazy because wow, sir. But when we think back to now knowing that he unalived Wendy, we think back to Rosie putting this affair on uh Mr. Ozzie.
Right, I don't know if we ever got his name. I think we did, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I was trying to go back and look, but I don't have time.
Yeah, it is.
We're putting the affair on him when he is the one who committed this murder, and I'm sure Rosie knows that he did it. He and not he and Wendy. When we think back to the Alex of it all and him coming to get the money, I thought that Alex and Kristen were in an entanglement. But here I am, I'm asking Kristen for this money because I know that Kristen was there and she knows that I know what happened and my silence was guaranteed. I hate that he flipped on Ozzy because you know that man was high out his head and ain't know what the hell was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the father shooting. Why would you not come to Ozzie's defense, you know? Because candidly, yes, we wanted him to be sober, but you probably could have had a client even more for life. And Ozzy, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, you wow.
But now you
But
don't
the
have
real,
to get,
that's real though. That's real though.
now you done got beat up and sent on the glory behind it, behind all of this foolishness, you know? So it
Yeah,
was
trying to
just
do too much.
very, very, very interesting to me.
So let me ask you this: does Rosie know that Pops killed Wendy?
Probably. Yes.
So here's the fascinating part, Rachel. Here's what I want to know that we'll never know. But
Mhm.
Kristen alludes to her when she's getting the confession out of her dad, like, when's going to be a good time. So it makes it seem like she's been trying to talk about that night.
Mhm.
Her dad is just kind of brushing her off. And dad went full evil mode. He went full Tyler Perry character, Tyler Perry villain. Like, none of you bitches, calling your daughter, and none of you bitches get this done, so I had to take matters in my own hand. I'm
Crazy.
realizing all you do is fuck things up. Like, it was just like 0 to 100. Um, I want to know what would have happened because why was Rosie not at Ozzie's testimony? Krista and Rosie were going. Like, how much of this does Rosie really know? Was this a shock to her that the dad was the one to do this? I don't know.
I don't think that it is. Consider, wasn't Kristen on the phone with Rosie after Alex went to the hospital? Is that not who she called?
I think she called Oz. No, she called Ozzie because we see in the opening at the end of that episode, she's on the phone. At the beginning of the next episode, Ozzie's on the other end talking about, what do you mean? Like, he won't be an issue. So she was talking to Ozzie on that one. But we did see Rosie give somebody the money. She was responsible for the setup of beating them up.
Exactly. So she knows, she's involved. Her husband, and Kristen came up with whatever this plan is. The only shock was when Rosie deviated and said that he was having the affair with Wendy. I think that was the only shock to all of them. I think Rosie didn't come because she felt like the jig was up. I think she thought that he would crack on the stand, and being that she had already said maybe he did this, I'm not coming.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a great point. She did call Jack directly and say, maybe my son did this. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, I just feel like Rosie's walking away a little too clean from this for me.
Oh, for sure. But they typically do.
That's life, I guess. That's life. Um, we see the confession or the dad talking to Chris and not knowing he's being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
He being taken away. Like I said, we know what actually happened. He's responsible for Wendy's death, and Jackson gets back to the office, and she sees this celebration for Bill becoming a partner, and she's surprised because nobody notified me. It
Yeah.
wasn't a vote. I'm aware. Oh well, it's an informal thing, but the writing's on the wall. Okay, it's going to happen before the acquisition. Acquisition. Well, damn. How much other stuff is going on without me?
Yeah. His name is Sal. Go ahead.
Sal, the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he guilty. He did that shit. Oh, nigga named Sal. So we could tell Jackson's over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jackson's been over this for a while. It kind of started with old girl at the beginning of the season, cussing her out in that meeting. She's just not appreciated. The partners haven't appreciated her since season one. We see multiple people come through, and everybody has a breaking point. And she goes to her office. Bill kind of tells her, I'm Team Jax, whatever. All right, whatever, partner. And she goes there. She sits down. She looks at a picture of President Obama, leaves the room, comes back with boxes. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm gone. I don't need this. I don't need to keep carrying y'all and making y'all look better than what y'all actually are. I was gonna go ahead and start my own shit. Didn't say anything. Didn't make a deal out of it. Took her boxes, put them in, and then we see the Stewart company, the Stewart firm. I forget the actual name.
Mm-hmm.
Opening that up, and we see Lewis there with her. I think was it Crystal that was there?
Yeah.
Okay, now I know if Dane was there or not, but I know Crystal was there for sure. And then at the end of the episode, at episode 10, we see someone coming in.
Yeah, I want to take a pause before we get to that. And we briefly talked about Corey, but we didn't talk about the most important part of Corey coming to the dinner. It wasn't just him at the
Oh,
house. It's
yeah.
Corey revealing that the partners had given him an offer basically to get Jax up out of here. So we know now they weren't just aiming for Bill. They've been trying to get Jax out at all costs, even if that means Corey coming in as a junior associate versus a partner where he already is at his firm. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
why would I? Yeah, why would I do that?
Because why would I do that? And we know that he kept this from Jax. And this likely is part of why he did decide to stay away. Now, I am of the belief that we will see Corey in season 4, especially with Jax starting Stewart and Associates or the Stewart spot.
Yeah,
And in regards to the shooting that we saw, consider this in Jax being over it in regards to Bill's partner party. Okay, go ahead.
no, great point, great point. I definitely missed that part. And great acting, great scene by Morris Chestnut. Just
Yeah.
because, yeah, the people you work for are foul. I'm glad he said something to her. I think that was just confirmation of what she already knew. Like they playing in my face, they have been. Monica's the one that comes into the new firm with
Yeah.
the gun out, gunshot, fade to black. Rachel, I'm gonna ask you very directly: who got shot?
Mama Lou.
Was Mama Lou there?
Wasn't she? If not her, then probably Lewis.
I'm gonna pull this up in real time because now I want to double check. I think it might have been Lewis. I think Lewis probably stepped in front of Jax.
Mm-hmm.
There was enough time to kind of know who's doing what.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it would have been Crystal. I don't think that does anything for the storyline. That kind of cheapens the finale.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, it has to be a main character. And let me double check right now. Yeah, so we have Daniel. So Crystal's not there actually.
Oh.
Oh, it could be Daniel. Daniel, I think Daniel stepped up a lot more this season as far as his role, and maybe that's because of the Crystal of it all. He had a love interest, so maybe it seemed like that. Yeah, it's just them three. It's Daniel, it's Jackson, it's Lewis. So I'm going with Lewis as well,
Okay.
based off those three. I can't see Jackson the one being shot.
Yeah, we know that that's who she's aiming for, but
Yeah, 100%. But I can't see her being the one shot. I think husband, somebody pulls out a gun, protecting your wife, protecting your children. It's kind of what it is.
maybe.
You, I was about to say with Lewis, you never know. Like I said, Daniel doesn't really move anything for the plot. Daniel getting shot doesn't really change the trajectory of the show or the season. One of those two getting shot does.
Yeah.
Does Lewis survive?
Yeah.
I wonder what happens to Monica because there's nobody else there. What's stopping her from letting off multiple shots? I don't know. I'm just talking out loud now.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think she does. Or she doesn't get away with it. Here comes the reason to have Corey back because Jax cannot try this case due to how close she is to it. So now here comes Corey, the other amazing criminal defense attorney. Or maybe Lewis died.
Well,
here comes Corey.
The way you said that with the shrug of the shoulder is kind of disturbing. What about the firm that she just left doesn't do prosecution, right? They only do defense. They're a defense firm.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting if somehow, some way they ended up seeing each other in court. I don't think that's going to happen because usually like it's a state versus and neither one of them are. So I can't see that happening. Just very interesting. I don't know. I think Lewis gets shot. Boo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, boo.
Even if Jackson's shot, again, here comes Corey. It can't be Bill, but here comes Corey.
Can't be Bill. You don't think so? Why not? Why can't it be Bill?
Because Jax isn't hiring Bill to her firm. Bill is a partner at wherever. And I don't trust you.
Right.
I trust Corey.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gotta be. It's gotta be Corey.
yeah. We might
I
see him
hope so.
passing, especially since he continues his relationship with Sally. I will see him, but
Yeah, we definitely saw him and Sally have a meeting, so
Mhm.
that looks like it's not going anywhere. Uh, I thought they did a phenomenal job landing the plane and finishing the season. I think they
For
have.
sure.
They're one of those shows where the finales are always better than the penultimate, and I
Mhm.
thought they smoked the finale. I think that's how you end the season. That's how you get everybody geared up for the next part, season 4. Did I miss anything? Did we miss anything?
Nope, we talked about everything. Ozzie died, R.I.P.
R.I.P. my
Al
man
did
Ozzy,
it.
man. Pow
Monica
pow, we
came
got
back
you.
shooting with a vengeance, got somebody. Uh we got Bill up out of here for the most part. Jack starting her own shit. Chelsea is back for no reason. That's the only thing I probably hate about these last couple of episodes is introducing Chelsea and then just leaving it there. So it has to be something for
Yeah,
the
Chelsea and
next
Eddie.
season. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
glad we got
Chelsea.
Eddie. Eddie is enough without Chelsea.
Shout out to Eddie, Big Eddie.
Big Eddie. They call
Yeah,
me
Chelsea
Big.
and Eddie will be involved. Mama Lou, of course. We'll see what happens. Lewis is the one we're predicted to be shot. Obviously, you got the new firm. You got Daniel over there. Crystal looks like she still was at the old firm. Maybe I saw them wiping off the name Stewart. I don't know if she's staying there. If she's going to come
I
over with
doubt it.
Jax. It would make sense that she comes over with Jax. I don't know if that was confirmed or not.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, we'll find out what the new case is going to be. Maybe it's centered around the shooting. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. But Rachel, I can't thank you enough for not only this season, but this episode.
for sure.
I know I sound crazy. I know
For
I've had
sure.
to take a few. I know I had to take a few breaks, blow my nose, but I appreciate you holding it down.
For sure.
Wasn't ideal, but we wanted to make sure we got this knocked out. And yeah, thank you for that.
Absolutely. I got you. You've held me down when I've been flying on one wing. So
I like that.
here we go. Shout out to
I look
Sparkle,
crazy
the
too. I
wing
need a haircut. I look crazy, man. Sheesh.
So, all that to say, thank you guys for riding with us this season of Reasonable Doubt. Again, as we said, they have been greenlit for another season. Maybe we'll cover it, maybe not. I'm sure it's at least a year and some change down the line. So,
Yeah.
conversations to be had. Thank you all for your input, comments, listening, like, subscribe, shares. Thank you so much, and we will catch you on another one. We got y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hope you feel